Hey guys, I'm just doing a quick message to let you know, putting this before the other video. Um, this video is kind of like in a two-part thing, but I put them together just because the energy was so intense and kind of really took me on a journey that I had to figure out and know really where to come with this. So, just, I mean, kind of either stick with it or you could fast forward to the other part, but I believe they're both very useful with what you guys are needing and seeing the difference and just kind of journeying on this together because I feel it's really needed. So this part doesn't possibly, I don't even need to do this, but it does start off really hard. So just bear with it because it's kind of part of the reading and I really had to tap into certain parts of myself that are hard. You'll see as you get into the video, but if it starts out kind of slow for you, whatever, fast forward it to this part where I look like this. I don't know, but just hang with it or fast forward if you need to. If not, best wishes on your journey. Okay? Thanks. Bye. Hey guys, this is the Pisces July 2018 reading. This is kind of I don't know, I want to say in a way a deep reading, and I know I'll get it out, the message and stuff, but I'm just going forward even though I don't fully have it yet. And I feel like the only reason I feel that way is because I think literally the energy that I'm picking up on for Pisces is not knowing. I mean, knowing, but not knowing. Just almost being in this sense of this fog. I almost feel this sense of like sadness, despair, like almost but not quite, feeling like drowning in my emotions. Like I can't think of the name for the term, paddling, where you're just staying in one spot, a body of water, and just, with your feet too, and just going and like trying to stay afloat, but in stagnant water. Like I'm getting a real big thing about stagnancy. So when I started, getting in your energy and laying your cards down, there was one card I came across that I just really wanted to see, what it was and know more about it, which I'll show it to you, but it pretty much shows like a waterfall and with cascading water going down different levels of rock or whatever. And so when I started looking at it more, it made me want to, hey, stop. It made me want to then put on like a kind of nature sound of running water. Not so much an ocean, but like a river, a stream, or where you could hear it kind of gently running down over rocks, just a stream, the sound of a stream. As I did that, it did back up this feeling of stagnancy that I had picked up But also in saying that, when I did that, it really took me deep. It took me almost on like this little journey or meditative journey of my own. So I was like kind of derailed from the reading for a minute, but it was much needed at the same time, just as an overall energy, but also like my Venus is in Pisces. And especially with Neptune being retrograde, you know, there's a lot of things being seen that before wasn't, and just different perspective. But anyways, it really took me just really deep, a deep journey. And so I think before I start the reading, I'm going to get into some of those concepts that were brought up for me and I feel are shared in what is laid out in this reading. I feel like it will be shared. I want to start off saying that when I first sat back and started listening to the flow of the water, it made me nervous. It made me anxious. And I have to say, I have an overall anxiety feeling right now. I feel really anxious, out of my element, just confused, just sad, foggy-minded. But I felt kind of nervous. And so it was weird because, you know, when I wasn't nervous before until I turned on the running water. The stream, the sound of the stream. And that's really weird, you know, because you are Pisces. You are a not only water sign, but are, I think even out of all the water signs, the one that wants and appreciates the flowing water the most. I kind of look at it, and I might be wrong, but that Pisces really enjoy that flowing water. Cancer really likes to kind of like, you know, back and forth. Like, sometimes it's deep, but they don't really like that, so they kind of like pop up and go. And I mean, it's like a crab. It's just like fidgety, like all over the place. You know what I mean? And Scorpios really like it to where, yes, it's a water sign, so more fluid, but out of all the waters, they do like it more stagnant. Because when water or emotions become stagnant, and I felt this too, I felt even your intensity, I felt it building and building and building and building. The intensity growing almost. Not real fast, but it was. Scorpios like that. Especially more unevolved Scorpios, because they love that feeling of, for one, you know, kind of having like, they kind of like that dark, murky pain, feeling like you're alive. A lot of them have victim mentalities, a lot of signs of victim mentalities, but that intensity from the pain, because it pushes them to break and go, like a dam breaking and transform, break free, shed layers, and move. Pisces, I feel, normally has this energy, like they don't really need to do that. You know, they're so much more gentle and sensitive of a sign. Like, not only is that so dramatic and so can be hurtful and chaotic, and Pisces don't, some could be addicted to drama, but for the most part they don't. They like the calm, the, you know, peaceful, no, let's nobody get hurt type waters and transformation, like slower. And yet you're sitting in that energy. Something has created that energy in you. When I was sitting there, it was like you are sitting in what would be more of a Scorpio energy. So yes, we do have Jupiter in the sign of Scorpio, and it is retrograde. But I'm not sure if you're dealing with a Scorpio. I do have a lot of Leo on the board as well. But board, whatever, the table, you get it. That doesn't even fully matter. But either way, you are sitting in the Scorpio energy and not in the Pisces energy. Is there a reason why? Is this serving you in some way? Do you realize that you are even? I mean, when I tapped into the Pisces energy, it was like I could go so deep. Like I went deep. And I didn't even try to. I mean, it was just like, oh, and then took off. So what is making it to where is it because you don't want to see? Because if the waters were more flowing, the waters would be more clear and you would be able to see more. But with waters running more stagnant, many times they usually are more murky. Does the murkiness assist you in not seeing things that you don't want to see? Yet at the same time, it's making you really anxious. You know that it's coming and you know that it's bubbling up. You know, and you can feel it. It's a ticking time bomb. I don't say that as a ticking time bomb in a dramatic way. Like, I don't know necessarily, I mean, if something's gonna happen for that, but you know you cannot sustain that, is what I'm mostly trying to say. I also think you feel that kind of anxiety and buildup because you feel the a type of transformation coming. And it's going to be a little bit more possibly significant than normal because the waters have been stagnant. If they have remained in a more flowing, constant state, this would transition in a more easier way that Pisces energy likes and prefers. Because it hasn't, you guys are going to get a little bit more of a Scorpio transformation, I feel. Where it builds, builds, builds and kind of just somehow or another just blank wiped clean. Which, now that I say that, you actually have a card that kind of correlates to that. To rebuild. Not only in your life or your emotions or just in what energy you're sitting in, whatever you went through that you had to go through, maybe it's even because, having to do too with Neptune being retrograde, and you guys seeing more and be like, I can't stay in that. I can't keep doing what I was doing, because whatever you had built up in your head of why you were doing it, now you're seeing it and you're like, well, that makes absolutely no sense. As well as all the other planets that are in line with, like, Uranus, whatever, Pluto, Capricorn, Mars, being retrograde. I mean, just, it's such a combination that, and I feel like out of all the signs, I think they're all kind of feeling it and wanting to not be exactly in their feelings or whatever. But I feel like water signs and earth signs are the most like that. They're having a little bit of a harder time being in their own skin, being in their own energy. Like this sound that I was playing should be right up your alley. Yet, it was making me uncomfortable. I mean, I did eventually work through it, and then, stuff really started flowing, which that's another thing. If you feel blocked off, or you feel confused, or you just feel like not right, not in your element, it's because you're not in your element. You are blocking yourself off because you don't want to see things. When I sat in that energy and I worked through that energy and allowed it to come into me and expand myself to absorb it, the feeling of the anxiety dissipated and things just started coming to me. I then felt at one with it and felt in the normal Pisces energy of being in the receptive energy. I mean, you guys are, like, if I'm not mistaken, like the most receptive energy, or at least one of them. Especially from, above and feeling all the energies and everything. Virgo is your opposite sign. Virgo is highly critical. It seems of others too, but the reason they seem critical of others is because Virgos are first and foremost the most critical of themselves. They are always about self-improvement, self-analysis, trying to be productive, trying to grow, trying to just make the most out of every moment, including within themselves. Sometimes to a detriment or to where their mind is closed off. A lot of people, they come across very critical or judgy, or like they're, you're not good enough to them or whatever, when really what it is that when a Virgo cares about you, they share things that they see because they care about you and they want to help you and they want you to change and grow too. If a Virgo doesn't care about you, they actually won't tell you. My main reason in saying that is Virgo is your opposite sign, and they are highly critical, mostly of themselves, very judging of themselves. Now, for them being your opposite sign, there is no way that you are not going to carry that characteristic. The thing that I think is the difference is that Pisces doesn't really do it to other people. Pisces does it to themselves. Pisces is a doormat a lot of times when they're not as evolved and they still have work to do with themselves. They are a sacrificial energy. I don't know if that's what you're coming to realize, is that why have I been doing that exactly? Has Neptune retrograde made you see, like, what was I thinking? That doesn't serve me or anyone else at all. And it's deteriorating me, and when I'm deteriorated, I can't help anybody anyways. But okay. But I don't know. Maybe you saw that. So like I was saying, I think you really need to learn to kind of sit in your emotions and don't escape from them. The only way out is in. And I don't think it's what you're thinking anyways. Like, I don't think it's really what you're scared of. Like, it's your power, it's your beauty, it's it is a lot emotionally and kind of pain-wise too. And I think you know, Pisces are probably really sensitive to all that, just because they're already so sensitive and stuff. But you can handle it, and it's for the best. And you guys love helping and being there for others too, and you just really can't do that if you're not being there for yourself. It's time to stop absorbing other people's energies. It's time to stop allowing other people to make you feel stupid for being in your own. You don't need to make excuses for who you are or your energy. You need to recognize and bring your energy. Like, there was a saying I heard before that I really liked. And this is the way I feel. I'm not here to absorb the energy on this planet. I'm here to bring my energy to this planet. I'm here to impact this planet. And no, I'm not like, oh, I'm the only one, you know, blah, blah, blah. That's not what I'm saying. I don't mind opening myself up to learning new things. I'm not saying that either. But it's about knowing and respecting and loving your energy, and knowing that if you feel alone or you feel different, that it doesn't mean something's wrong with you. If somebody doesn't understand, or you don't fit into whatever their mind sees, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It doesn't mean something's wrong with them either. But for one, it means more than likely you can see and be more, or in a different way they can, and you're supposed to bring that energy. You're supposed to bring that enlightenment. Pisces is a combination of all the signs before. There's a reason you guys can see so much and can feel so deep. To have the compassion like no other, and the emotional spirit of a child. To not fit in to a world that is sick, or allow themselves to be judged by a world that is sick, but to show the world that the same things or even better things can be done in so much more better and magical of a way. To raise the frequency on the planet. See, I have a lot of Neptune in my stuff too, and sometimes I'm like, man, this is a real pain. You know, you just want to see things for what they are. But life is about balance. You need a healthy level of reality with a healthy level of hope. Of seeing the glimmer and possibilities of magic and opportunities that is beyond that logic. Yet the logic to bring you back and ground it. It is about the balance of both. Don't let people make you forget or shy away from who you are, or have to adopt their energy because you are the sponges that you are. Letting you know that you are the sponges that you are because you allow that. So that is all you. Yes, it may not be, you don't know it, or you don't know how to change it, and you're going to have to do the work in figuring it out to find that out, you know, to whatever. You can either hit me up, I can work with you, or Google it or YouTube it. You'll find the answers, okay? But I feel like you've been losing your stuff for too long. I feel like I did a reading back in November, December, maybe during the Scorpio full moon or something, that it almost seemed like you guys found your footing, your balance, and some type of power. But I don't know if that was lost again or whatever, because I'm sure it's hard. You know, when you're as sensitive as you are and you aim to please, many Pisces are people pleasers. Not only are you aiming to please for yourself, but it hurts you to feel like you hurt somebody else. It hurts you to feel like you are not pleasing somebody else. You would rather you be the one hurting than somebody else. If you see somebody hurting and you care about them, you would literally walk up, grab that discomfort out of their chest, and shove it into your body. I mean, I know you guys somewhere else if you could, but some of you wouldn't actually. That's something you got to address in yourself. Some of you still would, because it makes you feel, it's like a badge of honor that you're carrying that for somebody. So some of you wouldn't even give that away. Work on that. But if it could only go between two people, you would walk out, boop, boop, and stick it in you. Even if that person is not willing to do something to change it, which 99% of the time, that is the situation. It's time to stop that. It's time to stop. Not only by things I think you're realizing, but it's literally, I feel like, coming down to the decision of you're hanging off a cliff and so is somebody else. And who are you going to pick? And again, I feel like so many Pisces would be like, I would let me go. But that's one of those times where it's time to pop out of the Neptune influence. And it's not saying to not be there for the ones you love. It's knowing when to be there for the right ones that deserve that. I don't even know, magical power. I mean, that amazing yet sometimes hurtful ability. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But it's not to not be there for them. It's to know sometimes who to decipher better, who deserves that energy, not just anybody you care about, and to look at who you're caring about, but also to know, again, with what you're supposed to bring to the world, is that there's a better way. Most of the time, what makes the biggest impact in this world and makes this world a better place is not self-sacrifice. It's actually leading by example. It actually creates more of the disharmony in this world that you don't like, and that makes you sad, and that makes you want to cry when you see it, and that makes you nauseous when you see the injustices in the world, that you can't understand how you're living in a world with what you see. It is through people being martyrs and sabotaging themselves and self-sacrifice in the way of enabling and codependency that creates the same world that sickens you. When you do what I'm talking about as far as the self-sabotage and the self-sacrifice for the ones you love, although it's from a good cause or a good intention, it is codependency. It is a sickness. There are, as real as it should be in this world, to see times where some situations don't need to be saved. The saving of them is in the repercussions playing out. To you as well. Even for absorbing somebody else's. If you're going to do that, at least make sure it's somebody that deserves that honor. I would recommend doing work on yourself and checking your beliefs and your thoughts of why you think that's the only way that you can help your loved ones and this planet. Because I know that's your true intention. But for the love of God, I highly recommend, if you're not going to do that, at the very least, make sure you're doing it for people that deserve it. And that they would absorb that for you if they had that opportunity. Would they? Would they absorb it for you? I mean, truly absorb it? Or just do things to pacify the situation? That may be all I picked up on. It may be helpful for you guys too if you have aquamarine stones. I don't know if it's a crystal or stone. I think it's a stone. That may help you. I know when I hold it, it really, I mean, it's like my body just wants to, like, you know what I mean? Just flow that energy. So you're meditating, whatever, just walking around. So we'll get started on your video or your reading. In the core or the center of the reading, you have the Ace of Wands reversed. So I don't know if this is like some type of beginning that is not starting and you're sad about it. I don't know if this is just you not feeling that great or that passionate or that up to par. I think it might be both. I don't feel this is just as one type of energy. Like, I do think some have a opportunity or a relationship that either isn't going that well, didn't start, or ended. For others, as an addition or just complete shift to this other energy, you are just not feeling hot at all. You're just not feeling like yourself. You just don't feel that great. You just feel just stagnant, discombobulated, like you just don't belong. You can't relate with anybody. They don't understand you. You're just not confident at all. Like, your chakras probably aren't balanced either. If you look, it kind of looks like, you know, the chakra colors ascending, like you probably need to balance your chakras. They're probably stagnant as well. I mean, if you're feeling stagnant, your chakras are probably going to be blocked up too. And what's crossing this is you have the Six of Swords. So not only moving on to calmer waters mentally, but this boat is moving, so it's also flowing. But the person in this boat, and they're moving on by themselves, by the way, and there's an angel on the front of the boat. I mean, it's part of the boat, but that is leading them out. So, you know, sometimes when you're in the darkness, you're put there in order to go deep, figure things out, and then find your light in it. But I feel like you're kind of in this darkness, and what's crossing you is allowing yourself to flow out, to be enlightened, to allow that energy to go, to release some energy. Are you holding on to some energy? What is it serving you if you are? And I guarantee you, some of you are going to be like, no, I'm not. But if you really sit and meditate and think about it, you're going to realize that you are. Or some of you know that you are. Why? I'm not saying this judgmentally. I'm asking you. Why? Why are you not just hopping on this boat and allowing yourself to be enlightened? Or allowing this energy to be released? Actually, I know why. I know why now. Because in order to get here, you've got to dive deep. And you've got to see what you don't want to see. That's why you're not releasing this energy. Okay, so I get it. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. I mean, how you feeling? You know? How are you feeling? Is that really a better trade-off? Because let me tell you something. You hold on to stuff that you are resisting from it being released or looked at, you are going to create your own fear. You are going to create something that's just hard and painful because you allowed it to fester and grow for so long. I promise you, it's not as bad as you're thinking it is. It's in your head. It's just now it's coming to a point, I think, for you that you can't ignore it or not see it anymore, because there's so many planets retrograde, they're making you look within, and Neptune is retrograde and the illusion is gone. You know that you're sitting stagnant, and you know that this is what you need to do, and that you need to come out of it and unstagnate those waters and move on. But up until when this energy comes in, you are fighting, resisting, or not wanting to do that. Okay, I'm back. I would like to just say, like, I don't know how many of you guys are having stomach problems, which is probably highly associated to your anxiety. But I have just felt all day today, I've been like in the Pisces energy. And, oh man, it's just kind of rough and out there and foggy and like anxious. And like my stomach has just been messed up all day. Like, anyways. So yeah, so I think that's why you're blocking, this energy is blocking you, is you're resisting the diving deep. What is in the foundation of the reading or the more distant past is you have this, there's this King of Swords. So, I mean, it could be, I don't really like to focus on signs. I mean, it could be Aries, or not Aries, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. It could be somebody with that energy of somebody who's just quick with their words, you know, they could be somewhat fair. I mean, it really depends on the person. Sometimes they're a little bit more narcissistic. Sometimes they can be just really fair, logical, to the point, whatever. So this could be this person. But the thing I mostly get from this card, if you look, this king is in the boat. This king is in the boat, and somebody from the water is reaching up a sword to him. Like he's holding on to the blade, handing the handle to this king in the boat. And these waters, they don't look smooth. They're rough. Like, are you drowning in water while throwing a lifeline to somebody who's already in a friggin' boat? I mean, are you not even just sacrificing yourself, but you are doing it for somebody who isn't even in danger? Emotionally, physically, mentally, or maybe in the past this is what was done? Look at it. He's in a boat. You're drowning and being overtaken by water down here, yet you're handing him a sword. I don't really know what you're going to do with a sword in the water. That's not the point. Why are you still worried about this man in a boat? Why don't you grab your butt onto the boat? Scoot over. I'm coming. What is going on here? I mean, this person isn't even like, yo, come on. He's reaching the sword for the sword while you're like all under the water. And he's a king? Enough about that. I think I've said enough about that card. In your recent past, you have the Sun, the Page of Pentacles, and the Six of Cups. This situation at one time did make you feel, it made you feel good. It made you feel happy. It made you feel seen and in the spotlight, like you were someone important and needed and wanted. Maybe even powerful. Yet, if you take the lens off of this camera, that changes how things really look, because it wants to make the pictures look better. what you're really left with is a whole lot of powerful and amazing energy, but you're just a shadow in the background. And you're sitting here with a whole bunch of things in your mind that aren't real. And it's to your detriment. There's nothing wrong with playing fun and imagination time. But, you know, is it so much so that you don't have other energies that you enjoy, that you kind of just always would rather be in this energy? I mean, in that she's serving them and they're not doing anything for her. Is that what you're starting to see now that Neptune's going retrograde? Is that this situation that one time made you feel so amazing and so good and nostalgic and quite a soulmate type thing, or quite a in alignment with you type thing, whether it's relationship, work, whatever. And then now that the rose-colored glasses and the lens of illusion has been removed, you're left with being a shadow in the background and in something that you were doing that was so not real, it was to your detriment. Are you starting to see that? And it's making you feel left out in the cold. Five of Pentacles energy. What's crowning you is you have the Eight of Cups and the Four of Wands. Now, this is one of the cards that really led me to that whole, you know, diving deep journey thing, was the Eight of Cups. It's like a waterfall, and then it like cascades down, like all these rocks, whatever. Normally in the Eight of Cups card, like in a Rider-Waite, you would see the cups kind of being, they were stacked, and then somebody's walking away from them to go seek something higher spiritually or to internally fulfill them. None of that's here. It's just a whole lot of water, nowhere to run, yet it's flowing. This is when I was staring at it, it made me want to turn it on. So, you know, that's another thing I would recommend too, like either every morning or before bed or while you're sleeping or whatever, not only aquamarine stone, but turn on some type of water. You could do an ocean if you want. I think that's a little like I would probably start off with something a little more gentle right now and do like a gentle stream or river sound, but that's up to you. Either way, do something that's flowy. But you have the Eight of Cups, and then you have the Four of Wands. Now, this Four of Wands, you know, here's kind of like a, it doesn't look like Stonehenge, but, I always get that mixed up. Stonehenge. I don't know. But so this is something like spiritual. This is something inner journey, soul path wise, that she's at a crossroads. This path leads to the moon. It leads to her emotions, her subconscious. If she goes right or left, she is avoiding it. This spiritual landmark is also kind of closer to this journey of the emotional one as well. So, you know that you're at this point of, I've either got to sit in all of this and just learn to float in all this emotion and water, or even like dive deep into it, I've got to decide whether I go towards that or I try to avoid it. I mean, I don't really think you can avoid it, but I mean, it might be an illusion in your head that you think you can. But I think you're starting to realize, you know, that you're stagnant. You need to flow and go somewhere. And that's starting to get in your head. Like what's happening is not working for you. In your likely future, you have the Eight of Pentacles. Clearly, you're starting to build something. Now that I look at this, it kind of looks like ruckus, not ruckus. I cannot even think tonight. Like debris that's left over. I think it starts with an R, but I think it's debris that's left over after something has happened. So it's like not only you're building on your own, but you're taking, it's almost like the dam broke is the feeling I get from this. I just had that word in my head. I don't think it's rubbish. Anyways, it's like the dam broke. And something changed. Something happened and had to be let out. And you're now rebuilding, I feel, after that. I'm not totally sure. I mean, I don't totally get like this tower vibe. But at the same time, I do. Like, it's like the card's not here. But at the same time, it's not quite so strong as the tower. Maybe like this death card. So I believe both are run by Scorpio. So you just have like, you kind of have a lesser than a tower vibe, but it's there. But something changed. Here's their death card. Like something changed or whatever, and you're now rebuilding. And you have the Ace of Cups, so it could be the start of a new love. It could just be the love within yourself. You know, now look at these waters. Now you're sitting there with the ocean. You're flowing again. Yay. That's good. I mean, you're really flowing. I mean, not only is the ocean flowing, you've got the emotions above you. You're sitting there like, sipping champagne. Even that cup's overflowing. So you're building something that, again, could be like love or the revival of something. I don't know. But I think it could be the love. I hope it's the love within yourself. I hope you're realizing that you have to be there more for yourself now. And that you've had rose-colored glasses about being a little sacrificial lamb for other people. And not only doing it, but who you're doing it for. And you have the Knight of Swords. You're taking action. You're letting this be known as much as you have to. And you're just cutting through, this darkness that you've been in. Because it's time for the light. It's time to flow. It's time to feel better. It's time to be more powerful. It's time for illumination. For the sun to shine again. It's time for you to see. And it's time for others to see that you're not doing that or choosing that anymore. How you see yourself now, because let me remind you what I just explained was the likely future. So how you see yourself right now is the Seven of Wands reversed. Not really having the boundaries that you feel like you should have. Not standing up for yourself as much as you should. And then the people in this card, they're all standing together. They're a unit, they're a team, they're a village that has each other's back and is there for each other. And you don't feel this way. You feel like you've been left out in the cold. Alone. Not understood. Not having the feelings given back in this having your back mentality like these people have. Like you had other people or someone else's back and clearly yours was not had, is the vibe I'm getting. And that's not really even totally their fault. Like, you completely put yourself in that position. To be honest, Pisces put themselves in such positions that most people, even if they are in a good, I'm here for you type way, can't even be there for them. Because it's a little bit so unrealistic what is being asked. And what Pisces does that they then expect back. You know? I mean, you guys are choosing to do such out there things for other people. Not everybody has that superpower. So you can't feel left out in the cold or not as equally loved or respected or of gratitude and harbor resentment because you expect other people to do for you what is not in their ability to do, nor something they signed up for when you decided to do what you did when you sold yourself down the river for somebody else. That is something for you to come to terms with, which I think you are, and for you to forgive yourself. The only person that really needs to forgive anybody here is you forgiving yourself, having compassion for where this came from and that you did the best you could at the time, but now you do better, you've learned, you know better, you rebuild, put together a stronger way, and you move forward. You move forward. Just look at it first. And before you move forward, look at why you are doing what you are doing so that you now know you can see it beforehand when those behavioral patterns start to rise up. This isn't the type of thing where you just, oh snap, I know now, I'm enlightened. No. When you realize something, it still takes a little bit of time of going through life for you to see it. You might slip up a little bit. Oh crap, I saw that. Pull yourself back. Look from a backward, pulled out, not too in the situation, like meditative or objective point of view to see what you're doing and start to like see it, catch yourself and create new patterns. And then your body catches up and now you've got a new pattern built. So you are going to have to work this over time. It's not just boom, done. It's a journey. This is all a journey. But when you go in and you see it in that meditative state, whatever state you need to be in, and you see why you're doing it, not only just meditating automatically puts you in your observing your own thoughts kind of way. So now you start to notice them more. Even when you're going in the world, it's like all of a sudden you're in a meditative state and you didn't even mean it. And you start seeing things like thoughts that you're like, oh shit, what was that I just thought about? It's crazy. But either way, if you start to become aware of why you're doing what you're doing and why your beliefs are what they are and your misprocessings and how you feel they're serving you and that there's actually a better and healthier way for both and everybody involved and who you're doing it to or for, you could start to change that pattern, Yeah. But you got to see why, because if you don't, you're just gonna like shift, but the shift isn't going to be proper. It's going to be like almost like you made a step, but that habit is going to manifest in a different way but with the same outcome. Like before you know it, your outcome, like you're having the same results you had before. You just kind of are doing it in a slightly different way now that almost again has your rose-colored glasses on, and you think you are doing something different and you're really not. You just have shifted it. It's like people with addiction problems. Like before they really see why and really start doing all the work, they shift one addiction to another addiction. It's kind of like that is what I'm trying to say. Like, you have to see what's underneath. You have to see why. You have to heal those wounds and figure out, you know, either how to appease them in healthier ways or just heal it to where it doesn't need to be fed anymore. Yeah, so that's how you see yourself. Alone and not understood and not backed up. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay. So, I just have to say, like, this energy is really draining me. I feel for you guys, you know? Like, this is a very draining energy. So, stay strong. Stick through it, okay? Because I can feel it, and it's hard, it's heavy. Like, I'm definitely going to sleep after this. Actually, you know what? I feel like I'm being guided to finish this tomorrow when I get up. Even with the messages, with the change of energy, my health, everything like that, I'm gonna sleep. I'm gonna get some rest and rest on it. I feel like even my stuff's being blocked. Like, so I'm gonna wait. I think it'll be better for you guys anyway. So you guys, I mean, either way, you're gonna get it tomorrow anyways, whether I did it tonight or tomorrow. So I'm gonna go rest. I'm gonna take care of myself right now. And I feel like it's what I need. And I feel like I'm going to give you guys a better message too for the remainder of this reading tomorrow. So, you guys will be seeing me in the same time. But I'm going to finish this tomorrow. So, I'll see you tomorrow. Same time for you. Whatever. You get it. Bye. Hey Pisces. I'm back. Okay. So, I really had to do a lot of stuff. Because what I'm finding out is that in your energy, I think it was so hard for me because your energy, as well as, like I said, my Pisces, or my Venus is in Pisces, which Venus is about love and beauty and comforts and harmony and all of that. So, where your energy is, I realized is all of, or a huge portion of my shadow side, which I have worked a lot on, but there is a certain level, and a certain, I don't know, opening and realization that I had to get to, that I'm not going to say I didn't see it, but I guess in the same way of the message I was trying to tell you guys, I either didn't want to see it, and it's not that I guess in a way I didn't want to, but I didn't want to yet. I felt like I had to be stronger and have more done and together within myself before addressing that part. Yeah, that's, I don't, it's not going to be able to wait, I don't think. The planets, everything, my mission, whatever you want to put it to, it's bringing it in. It's bubbling. It's getting right here, all inside me. And I'm going to need to address it. Now, I'm going to tell you some more things. Most of this is going to be talking. I'm going to get to your cards, like, briefly. You only have a little bit left, but this is mostly, like, this is mostly here. Like, I'm being real with you. And, we're going to do this together. I'm going to try to do as much with you as I can and really bring myself in this. I realized that this, like I said, I think I said it before, that this energy was a lot like a Scorpio energy. So it could be because of the planets, like Jupiter being in Scorpio. It could be because you're a water sign and you're taking on those more like murky, keeping stuff bottled down energies. Pisces doesn't usually always do that. They're usually pretty flowy. But, stuttering and lightning outside. Something's really been building in you guys, because like a big bolt of lightning just came down. It's wanting to come out. It's kind of like I said, the dam breaking or a tower moment. I don't know if maybe when Scorpio comes out in you, that is your shadow side trying to come out. It's tired of being quiet. I don't know. But it's a darkness, and that's what I felt last night. It's an uncomfortable, foggy darkness, which is not like you. Normally you're, cheerful and have like the heart of a child and so compassionate and loving. Scorpios are different, and that's not to say they're bad. It's just, they are a very heavier energy as far as dealing with emotions. They are built a little bit more for that. They have their hard shell. They're not as, like fairy energy like or something. They're more grounded. They're heavier. They're darker. Not dark in an evil way. They're in that balanced way. And not only like you're not balanced, I mean like light dark balance. Like they are that murkiness. They are that side that brings another energy to this world. But they're built for that. So if they get hurt or something like that, they're built with a harder exterior. Even if they've evolved to, a wolf or an eagle or a phoenix. They're built more for that, especially when they like, isolation more and time to themselves more. And they can just handle some of those harder energies. They kind of thrive even off some of those harder energies. They have their stinger to get their point across or to teach people lessons. Or even to release. Their stinger is very much one of their modes of releasing. You don't have that. You don't have that side to you to where you can sting people or do all that to get your point across. You have your voice, you have your love, you have your youthful essence, you have your time, your compassion, your healing even. Especially your healing. And if you lose your voice and you lose your boundaries, what do you have to show people? Because at that point, you're taking on the negative attributes of Scorpio without the ones that help balance them out, that help get their point across. So you're keeping on your certain ways of a Pisces, but yet the heavy burdensomeness of a Scorpio. However, the kicker to that is because of all this, you're also losing your compassion, I feel. Even though your compassion is there, you're starting to lose it and become more cynical. Maybe you will develop a shell. Maybe you will. The point is, at that point, you're transforming to something even more of what you're not. You're already doing something you're not. You're just doing it for, fear and security, which we'll get to. But you don't want to transform even more into something that you're not. Like, as of right now, at least you're like being a doormat or not being true to yourself. You don't want to be a doormat and not be true to yourself, and on top of it, do things that hurt people and shut yourself off. You will completely not be what you were made and born to be here on earth as a Pisces. You will disintegrate. At that point, it's not about fun and games. It's not about childhood wounds. It's about life and death. So I'm sorry to make this a little bit so serious, and we are going to lighten up after when we get into the emotional part, but this is some serious stuff that I don't think most Pisces realize the true sacrifice that is being made. Do you want to become a Scorpio? Keeping in mind, you know, and I'm not saying anything wrong with Scorpio, that's not what I'm saying, but keep it in mind that you will never become fully a Scorpio. So, in other words, you will just become this blend of mutation that doesn't know how to function properly because it's still part of something else but trying to be something else, and it's a mixture that didn't harmonize, and so your body's just going haywire. Which is why I was getting the energy last night where it's like, it was all over the place. Like, I couldn't ground it. I was like, I don't know, confused, like lots of anger, panic, just fear and losing compassion, anger even. And a lot of times pain and confusion and depression, especially for a Pisces, especially for a woman, but a Pisces anyways, can come across as that, depression, anxiety, panic, and it's anger. It's really anger. It's just how you express anger. I mean, think about it. How does a fish express anger? What is it going to do? Like flop around? You know what I mean? You guys don't have that same way of expressing anger that a Scorpio does. Yet you're trying to take on attributes of Scorpios, but you don't have the things that balance the Scorpio out. Where a Scorpio, once it becomes enough, can balance that. And don't get me wrong, singing people is not a good thing to do, but they have a way of expressing themselves. They have an outlet. You can't take on that heavy of an energy and not have an outlet. You can't get kicked off your normal flow. Just because other people don't understand it, or they think it's wrong, or it's too much for them to understand, or it's even too much for you. And chances are, to be honest with you, if your energy is too much for yourself, it is because you are misprocessing things and you are not cleansing yourself out. If you are a Pisces, you for sure need to constantly be reflecting, cleansing. You need to have strong but loving boundaries. Boundaries. If anybody that is most important to you, it is a Pisces. Boundaries. You need to cleanse yourself and learn how to cleanse yourself. And I don't just mean your body on the outside. I don't just mean diet, eat a clean diet. I mean your energy field. You are walking sponges. And to be honest, people love that. As much as people knock you for it and tell you that you should not be like that and that something is wrong with you that you are, they utilize it at the same time to displace their energy onto you. Which is why they bring you into them, but yet regurgitate it onto you. But yet something's wrong with you. And you're internalizing that. You are internalizing that something is wrong with you. Yet consciously or subconsciously, they are purposely using that amazing healing part of you because something is going on with them. It is projection. If something was so wrong with you, why is it so necessary for them? Why is it their anecdote, whatever, to what they need? The only thing that has been wrong with this situation and with you, and it's not even wrong with you, is that you don't realize what you have, that you have been told somewhere along the way that something is wrong with you, and that you don't know who properly deserves what you have and how for you to protect it and decipher where that energy goes, what energies are taken on and what energies are given away, and to be cleansed. You need to watch your environment, movies even, friends, lovers, anything that could be harmful to you or that is not in line with you. You need to be in nature. Probably preferably stuff with water, but anything will do as far as nature. Self-love, which is like anti-Pisces. Pisces is all about I love you. What you need to do is stand in front of the mirror and say, I love you. You can't even really love somebody unless you love yourself anyways. Self-love, Pisces. Self-love. And reflecting. Because of the fact that you guys are sponges, you constantly have to reflect on your current state and your energy state so that you can decipher what is yours and what is not yours and what you picked up or adopted from someone else. Because sometimes even when you have strong boundaries, it happens. But so that you know to let it go because it's not yours. So that you will integrate it into all your stuff that now you've got to work up again. Because here's the thing. Because you haven't been doing it for so long, now the work that you're going to have to do, and it's okay. It just is what it is. And now we move forward, okay? But now because of that, you're going to have to process and release a lot of that. Technically, you could call it karma to some degree if you want. But you have integrated it into your body as your own. Now, let's go off this thought for a second. A lot of things that cause a problem in the body, whether it be cancer or some type of illness or whatever, is, especially cancer, is when your body literally starts to attack itself or not be able to defend itself, even HIV even, because of the fact that your body sees something as foreign. You or just your body in itself is saying, no, this is part of me. We need to process this. And some other part of you is like, no, this is not. I don't recognize this as part of me. This does not fit in line with me. Therefore, I am going to reject it. Okay? Because of that is where you get, cancer, or you get a lot of your signs and symptoms from the stuff. Even anxiety and depression, anything like that is going wrong with your body, that your body's trying to notify you something is going wrong, is because your body is telling you, this is not part of me. It is not part of you, yet you are trying in some way to integrate that stuff as part of you. And whenever your body tries to integrate something that's not part of it, or that is a foreign body, it either attacks it or it rejects it. Like if people get surgery sometimes and there's an artificial whatever, sometimes your body rejects it. If you have an organ transplant, you have to take medicine for the rest of your life to shut off your immune system, basically a large part of it, in order to tell your body not to reject it, because your body sees it as something that is not it, so it wants to get rid of it. Your body wants to get rid of things that are not part of it. It is not part of you. So if you are sitting here with all this depression and anxiety that I am feeling, it is because your body is telling you, yo, something's going on in here that is not part of you. You have taken it on from somebody else. And probably misprocessed, not only that, but other stuff too. Yet you're integrating it and identifying it as something that is your own. Let's stop trying to shove stuff down in our bodies, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever you want to talk about. It is about purify, like clean slate. I'll get to this later, but there's something about this card about clean slate. And there was something else, I don't know, that I read somewhere. Clean slate. Your body is wanting you to purify and clean slate. It wants to get something out of it, which might be why something is pushing you into this Scorpio energy, because you're just too gentle and lackadaisy to be like, you know what? Pisces isn't getting it. We've got to bring on Scorpio energy. Because Scorpios will get it out. If not right away, oh yeah, they will. Because Scorpios build up, build up, build up, build up, and poof. They just love it, though. Pisces don't. And I'm not telling you that to be scary about it. Because even if that happens, you will be okay and you will move on. And you're going to, in the long run, it's going to be good for you. But there may be a way that you can somewhat ease that by what I'm saying to you right now. Because that's what Scorpios do. A lot of them that I know, and a big characteristic of them is they're about hidden and mystery and all that. So they push, 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 push. And the problem with it is you're pushing and you're pushing, and then your own fire and your energy inside of you is poof, poof, poof. And you're going to push and you're going to push. But the thing is, this fire and this energy inside of you is stronger than this. So even though they're pushing down, this is pushing up. Until eventually, the dam's got to break. Okay? And it's such a energetic release for them. It's painful. And that's why a lot of them associate pain to like good things or new beginnings, because they constantly do that. So it's a shedding of the skin. It's kind of bittersweet. But you're more sensitive. You're softer. You're more of a feminine, softer energy. And that's just not something ideal you want to do. And like I said, if that happens, it's okay. You just move through it. And it was just to show you something because there was something you were having trouble doing. But it is a little more painful that way. And you guys don't really thrive off pain in the way Scorpios do. So if you want to somewhat, it's not going to be completely taken away. It's just can be better. Because Pisces do have a hard time letting things go. Sometimes they have a hard time saying goodbye. Whether it's to people in their life, situations, events, or even to their own truth and their own pains. Even to their own wounds. This is very much a child wound, I feel. This is deep-seated. I had to dig deep inside myself to get to this stuff. And everything in your message is also about diving really deep. It's digging deep. And it's that part that you've been really scared because everything should be like love and roses and everything like that. It's very similar to a Taurus energy or a Venus energy. And it sucks because you guys are normally so like lovely and romantical. Neptune is retrograde. And I think and that's why this is building up. And that's the point of it going retrograde is there's been something that, although, like I said, there is a good purpose for the rose-colored glasses of Neptune. And the world needs that level of hope and magical eyes in the world. But there also needs to be a balance with reality. And when Neptune goes retrograde, it is to give you that other view of the world, that other balance, where maybe you haven't seen things properly. It's time to stop getting knocked off your own flow. Your way of doing things is by your love, your voice, uniqueness, you supporting your youthful heart and spirit of a child, and you leading by example. Pisces always are the ones that, what's it called? They take one for the team. They're the bigger man. Okay? You lead by example. That is your way. But maybe it's time to realize you haven't been leading properly. Maybe it's not just love for other people that you need to lead by, but that it's also by self-love. And by self-love, you actually give your greatest gift of healing and compassion and love for other people. It forces them to have to see that in themselves. You are not truly loving somebody else if you are upholding their false realities and their toxic behaviors. That it's not just them, it's you that is going down. And not in a Romeo and Juliet kind of way either. Romeo didn't ask Juliet to take his pain. She did. But he did too. Now, in saying that, it's romantic. Don't get me wrong, I am a romantic at heart because of my Venus in Pisces. But there was clearly other stuff they could have done. Just like in the Titanic with Rose and, what's his name, Jack? Like, everyone jokes about it, but it's so true. She should have moved over. Okay? Or he could have laid on top of her and kept her warm. Figure it out. Don't try once or twice. And I know it's like, no, I want you to be safe. I'm not going to try anymore. No. And here's the thought too. Not only because she had moved over or whatever, but use your mind, scoot over, balance, bounce it out while he's trying to get up so the thing doesn't flip, all of that. We don't need to get into this. Many people have thought about it. The point is there's better ways. And you sacrificing yourself is not the grandest showing of love. It's not anywhere close to the grandest showing of love. Because like I said, if you don't love yourself, you don't know how to love somebody else. At that point, it's codependency, which is a huge part of what we're getting into. A large thing of what you're going to come into is who am I and what makes me up? What made me into the person that I am today? And it's that part you're not wanting to see. It's that part that you're scared. Because you love your waters and you love to swim around. But I think you've got your limits. I think that murky water is an uncharted territory for you. Which is why something made you pop to Scorpio energy. Which you're still resisting. But we're going to work on that. So the main thing to tell you is relax, slow down, take some deep breaths, pull your energy back, clear yourself out, sit in your energy, even if it's uncomfortable, sit in your energy. And you're going to dive. We're going to dive. We're going to dive a little bit. Because if we don't, this is just going to keep showing up. And one thing I learned, which I constantly have to remind myself a lot, is that this too shall pass. And you just keep taking one step in front of the other. When you don't know what's going on, when you don't know where to go, when you don't know if you can keep going, when you can't even see and you're in pitch black, your heart feels black, Your mind feels black. Your eyes see black. You just keep taking one step in front of the other. And you know that it will pass. Because it will. Accept help if you need to. Absolutely. But it will pass. It's almost so deep that you don't even know where to start. And that's why it's panicky, it's angry, it's crazy, it's settling, it's anxious, it's I don't know, I don't want to, but it's also so much and so deep, and that's what scares me, but I don't even know where to start. You don't have to know where to start. You just start. Your intuition will guide you. When you lay that intention that you're wanting to start, your body provides you everything you need. And so does your connection. You guys are highly gifted. Don't shut that part off of you. I highly recommend looking up, and I don't think it's going to apply to everybody's situation, the exact word, but whenever I was looking into this, the song Fear of Being Alone by Reba McEntire came up. And like I said, not every word is going to match up, or like you meeting someone in a bar and all that stuff. Just listen to the main concept of the song. But I highly recommend that you look up Fear of Being Alone by Reba McEntire. If you have a hard time clearly hearing words, look up the lyrics version of it. Not the one, I kept finding one that was like 1 minute long, or 1 minute long. Don't look at that. Look at the one that's like 4 minutes and something long. But look at the concept of that, because that's a huge portion or part of what is going on with you. Now, you know, part of me thinking really deep on this, I really had to like decide. I'm like, oh my God, am I going to wear like mascara or not? Like that was my first huge question I really had to decide on, because I don't know where this is going to go. But man, did this open up some stuff. This energy that I tapped into of yours, it broke open a dam or a piece of it, or something inside of me. That there is no turning around at this point. I can feel it and I know it. So what we're going to do, and that I'm willing to do with you, is I'm going to attempt to put myself on the line and maybe a little of my vulnerability. And I'm going to dive with you. I'm going to do my best. I can't do all of it, obviously, and I don't know you personally and all that, but we're going to start. And do this together for now, you know, to where you're not alone, you get an idea, but you are going to have to do this alone. You're going to have to work through that codependent side, okay? But just to have someone else be here with you. Someone else who understands, and someone else who really respects that angry part of you that is just so angry and resentful for not being appreciated for what you've done and what you do and the sacrifices you make, that you don't even realize the extent of what you've done. It's just hard for people sometimes to respect somebody sacrificing themselves. And let's face it, that anger that you feel is not towards those people. That anger is towards yourself. That's why this self-forgiveness card came out. it is for sacrificing yourself in the way you have and not loving yourself and not feeling like you're good enough. Because there is a huge part of you that knows that you are. And there's a part of you that is really, really angry for being ignored. At the same time, while you were being not taken seriously, while you were being told something's wrong with you. Hold on a second. Okay. While you were being told something was wrong with you, while you are not being given the respect and the appreciation that you deserve, the love that you deserve, the backing that you deserve, the standing by somebody, the being eye to eye, the being the one that is saying, even though I don't agree with you, even though I don't know where you're coming from, I'm here with you. And I understand you as far as having compassion for the pain you're going through. And I don't judge you. I don't judge you. And I'm here with you. While you were being there for others doing that, and it was not being reciprocated back, not getting that gratitude, the respect, the teamwork, the cooperation, like you're alone. Emotionally, especially, I mean, but in all ways it can apply, but emotionally. And I will say that a large portion of this is your perspective. It may not even really be this way in your environment, but it is what you feel and what you think. And a lot of it is based off past wounds that have altered the way you see things. But this is the way you have felt. Rightfully so, or in a misprocessed way. The reason that you have felt that way is because that is what you have done to yourself. When yourself was crying out inside of you, you never stopped and sat there and said, even though I don't understand you, I'm here for you and I don't judge you. But I do love you. And I'm here to work through your pain with you. This is the reason for no mascara. What isn't within is without. If that is what you are experiencing in your outward environment, that is what you are doing to yourself inside. It makes absolutely no sense to do that for somebody else. And you can't sit and do that for you. Why can you take on somebody else's pain? Why can you have panic attacks and anxiety and depression for somebody else's pain? It's the same as yours. You can't always understand their pain. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But that doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter whether you can understand somebody's pain or not. You're still there with them. You're still there holding their hand, and you're still there absorbing their energy to help them out. Telling them, I'm here for you. I'm going through this with you. I don't need to understand. Because all I understand is that I have compassion for you and I know what you're feeling is real And you're beautiful and amazing anyways. That's the gift of Pisces. And there is nothing wrong with that. It is what this world needs. Yet has been shunned in a large way because others have such a hard part understanding that within themselves. Pisces, don't see that way about yourself. It's not right. It is a misperception. It is time to find your crowns and put them back on. Look at the world and the state it's in that makes you sad and nauseous. It is because there's not more Pisces. It is because even a lot of the Pisces that we have on this earth are hurt and wounded and have not awoken yet and need to. They need to find their power, and they need to know that their job is not to absorb this world's energy, but to impact this world's energy. It's not, you're not good enough. What caused that? Did somebody give you the silent treatment? I'm not even, let's not even go to partners, okay? We're really gonna dive, and I'm gonna go through this with you. And don't get me wrong, this isn't the end of it for you. You need to go and do more. Let's go past relationships. Let's go past loves. Let's dive deep. Did somebody give you silent treatments when you were younger? Did somebody make you feel that if you said the wrong thing, you didn't get their love? Or they didn't need your love? That you are such an outcast in this world? Where would you fit in if I'm not there to shelter you? That you're not good enough? That your thoughts are weird? Or they don't matter? Or there's no place for them in this society? That nobody can show you love, but yet because you have it and are so giving with it, yours is manipulated? That you just keep forgiving and forgiving and forgiving, but it's taken for granted and never learned? But again, something's wrong with you. That because you could feel stuff is wrong in the environment and people are hurting and not being real with themselves, and you could feel that because you're taking on that energy, so you go try to make people feel better because you could feel something's wrong with them and you're just trying to love them, but something's wrong with you. Because you don't like those deep, murky feelings, and you want things to be at a higher vibration level, and everybody just be loving and having a good time. You want to talk about it. You want to get it out. You want to release it because you don't want to have to go to a Scorpio level. So you bring it forth. But something's wrong with you. You are the bad child. You are the one that causes issues. You are the ones that make my reality difficult. What is wrong with you? Why can't you just uphold my reality? You're complicating things. You always complicate things. That's not at all the way things are. You have a really messed up head. Why do you see things like that? It's absolutely not true. But I'm here for you. I'm here for you. And good thing. Because something's wrong with you. Where would you be without me? You need to grow up. You need to stop thinking like a child. You need to stop acting like a child. You need to come out of La La Land. I want to say that a lot of what I just said more than likely was not at all what people mean. It more than likely wasn't even reality. And I'm not saying that to minimize what you felt or that it wasn't real or that it wasn't your reality. It was a perception that you took based on wounds that were developed. Whether they were there when you came in this world as part of your journey and lesson, or whether they were developed because another parent or both parents had issues that they have not worked through themselves. And they were doing the best they could. Or sometimes even their pain was taken out on you. Most of the time it's the most sensitive that pain is taken out on. It's the ones who can absorb it that others transfer it to. And they don't even always realize it. It's sometimes just subconscious. They can feel it. It's that push-pull dynamic. It's a huge portion of that. It's a huge portion of why you are so crazy, but why they can't leave you alone. And you're not crazy. That's not what I'm saying. There's a reason why your reality, your beliefs create your reality. And why a lot of people, especially the more enlightened you get, say that, you know, it's a holographic universe and it's all not real. Is because everybody's reality depends on their perception. The only way that you can clear up or start to understand other people's perceptions of you and of other things in this world is by understanding your own. By understanding your own wounds and your own ways of how you feel. Your fear of being alone. Because you are so much of the odd duckling that you don't belong on this planet. And you absolutely need someone else to ground you so that you even somewhat feel close to belonging here. It is not true, Pisces. Okay? for one to feel like they belong on this planet, it doesn't have to be because you fit in with everybody else. You actually belong more on this planet than anybody else, or people that feel that way do. Because there are gifts that they have that are supposed to influence this world and make it a better place. But the part of our society that is sick and has not healed itself yet tells us otherwise as we're growing up. And we believe it. We believe it. How horrible does that feel? To now not even feel grounded on this earth? And to feel so different from everyone else? And to be told by everyone else? And now we believe it? It's time for an awakening. It's time for you to realize they're all full of shit. Pardon my French, but I'm going to say it this time. And you're full of shit too. And you're going to stay full of shit until you dive. Until you face those fears. And you either go against that situation or that person in your head with love and compassion and speaking your voice, or you do it in person. You do whatever you have to do. People think to a Pisces, what are you going to take from me? You're going to take the Pisces away. Because the Pisces is the greatest gift. Like I said, it's that craziness they can't live without. There's a reason for that. Because you absorb what they're not wanting to see. Don't borrow other people's problems. Don't borrow other people's emotions. You have enough of your own to work through. There is a new way. There's a better way. And there's a way to be there and love people and hold their hand and tell them, you're not weird. I love you. I either understand or I don't. But I'm here for you and I don't judge you. I will be beside you while you are processing these emotions. Not to absorb them. Not to let somebody else get upset and put it on you that you did something wrong and you are confused because you have no idea what the heck just happened. That something is your fault. That you feel weird things and you try to say it because you try to change that energy and be the Pisces that you are so that things don't stew and get to an ugly level. But my God, there's something wrong with you again. No, Pisces, no. Stand up. Yes, you have things to work through too. Yes, you have things you have misprocessed. But so do we all. And just because people have things still to process doesn't mean they don't stand up for their stuff. Do not have such a fear of being alone or being rejected or not being good enough because somebody along your family line or somewhere when you were younger told you that or made you feel that way or you processed things wrong and took it that way. Whatever. No. you stand up. Show people the new world. Show them your world. Because people who care will want to see your world. Whether they care because they just do and they got the message faster, or whether because you were like, peace, I need to go take care of myself, and they're like, oh God, my lifeline just left. You are the lifeline, Pisces. But in your mind, they're yours. They are not your lifeline. You are your lifeline. And until they get their crap together, you are their lifeline, no matter what they say or do. Do not let fear override you. Do not let fear control your actions and your life and what you came here for. Show your gift to the world with love and compassion and understanding, but boundaries. Everybody needs to feel your boundaries. I don't care who they are. You know what else? You also need to feel your own boundaries. Oh yeah. Boundaries don't just apply to other people. Boundaries apply to ourselves as well. Including telling ourselves no sometimes. Or including telling ourselves, you've got to do this sometimes. Boundaries are love. Not control. Not putting somebody in a box. Boundaries. Being so okay with that you're willing to let someone or something go. True healing doesn't happen, and messages many times in this world are not fully received until it is seen that somebody is so serious and so in tune with themselves that no matter what, they are willing to let anybody or anything go to stay in line with themselves. And I don't mean in a narcissistic way where you're so zoned you can't see anything else. But that self-love way and knowing who you are and where you come from and what you deserve. That you're willing to walk away to show it. That you're willing to wipe your slate clean in order to make room for your life, where the image that you see and what you want is able to come in. Whether people get on the ball game and start to heal themselves and pop to that frequency, or whether it's just new things and new people. True, absolute healing cannot happen until you are ready to let go and not look back. Not on your own. To where you're okay with saying your piece and saying your truth. And again, not narcissistically, have a conversation and hear each other back and forth. Like, hear what other people are saying. Hear them. Pisces usually don't have a hard time with that. And be okay with somebody walking away. Or you walking away. It might take even a little while to let those pains and those things filter through and integrate in your body. I'm not going to lie. You probably or might even have more anxiety and more depression at first. You might even have more panic attacks at first because you are going through a type of ego death. Ego death is not just somebody who's cocky walking around and they're just like full of themselves. Ego has to do with what anybody wants outside of their own soul mission. It is the personal wants and desires. So if what you are wanting and desiring, even if it is a wholesome and a loving thing, if that is changing, you are still going through an ego death. If you are releasing those pains and those things and those new actions, and you're going to find as you're taking new actions, new blocks come up that you didn't know were there, but you're working through them. They're integrating into your body. But it gets better. The path you're on now, it doesn't get better. It gets worse. Pisces, nothing will happen to you if you're alone. But the ironic part about it is, you're never alone. You got yourself. I sit there many times, like during the beginning of my journey, when I was really having to deal with like my root chakra and fear. There was many times like I felt so alone, and the only thing I could do was put my hand over my heart to remind myself that I was there for myself. I wasn't alone because I was there. And that's what you need to know, is that you're there. You will never be alone, and you will be okay. The only reason you feel alone is because you're not there for yourself. Anybody who's not there for themselves feels so lonely. And it does eventually become a blackness. It's time to be there for yourself. It's time to stop sacrificing yourself. Hey, okay. I had to like clear some stuff off my phone to make room. All right, so let's take a break off diving for a minute. We'll go back to it if we need to. I already went over how you see yourself. You know, if you remember, you had the Seven of Wands reverse, you know, feeling alone, not people having backing for you like you did for them. You know, a lot of stuff I just went over in diving. What's in your environment or how others see you is you have the Strength card and you have the Death card. So like I said, you have a lot of like Scorpio and Leo reference, which you might have, you know, Scorpio, Leo in your life. This could also be a work thing to like apply it to your life as needed. You know, if this is losing a job, you're losing your identity and you don't think you're going to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, it might be that too. Apply all the same concepts, whatever. But not only could this be like a Leo or Scorpio in your life or whatever, but these are also the energies that are in your environment, how others are seeing you. So I see this as, you know, we are coming up on Leo season, after, you know, of course it's now coming up as Cancer, but they kind of blend, like, kind of kickstarts all of it with like the solstice and then, Cancer season, then shoots right into Leo, which is just a game changer as far as the year goes. It's like almost like a turning of the wheel sometimes in a lighter kind of whatever way. But it's also, so these environments, these energies are coming to you. So you have, you know, the Leo energy for strength, also tackling basically your own some people will say like sexual side or lustful side, or pretty much your shadow side. It's pretty much what the Strength card is normally it's kind of petting or conquering or it's okay, calming your shadow side. This card kind of depicts it differently. And in this one, the girl doesn't, just, it's okay, and quiet it and overpower the shadow side. This card, the girl, is actually becoming the same level with the shadow side. Showing the shadow, your own twin, if you will, whether you're Gemini or not. We all have our twins. It's just Geminis, I think, are a little more aware of it. Is showing your shadow side that I'm not trying to overtake you. I'm not trying to push you out. And I'm not trying to tell you something's wrong. What she's doing to her shadow side, let me reiterate the conversation right now that's going on with the shadow side. I'm here for you. I hear you. I may not understand you yet. And that doesn't mean that anything's wrong with you. But I'm here for you, and I'll sit with you, and I will not judge you. Sound familiar? I see you. Whether I understand you yet or not, I see you. I hear you. I acknowledge you. I respect you. And I even have gratitude for you. I'm sorry that I have quieted you for so long. I'm sorry that I have not given you the recognition that you have deserved. I'm sorry that I've tried to run the show and thought I could do it on my own. Because I realize that you are equally a part of me that is just as necessary. And I'm sorry I didn't see that. I'm sorry I didn't know better. I'm sorry that I was so stuck on the fear-based perception of my wounds that I didn't even notice yours. I'm sorry that my perceptions were so off and so not accurate. I didn't see. I didn't know. I did the best I could based on what I did know. That doesn't make it right or wrong. It just makes it so. But now that we know, now we can move forward together on the same page, working together. Is it starting to make sense to you why this is so, why it's mirroring in your life? Why this is not like this? Because you're like this inside. So this is going to show on your outside. Everything that I just said that you're saying to your shadow side is everything that you've ever wanted said to you. And everything that that person or situation would say if they knew. If they really knew. And for the love of God, I am not saying this to excuse. Pisces, don't you dare have such huge compassion that you're just like, oh, they really do though. Even they don't say it and do it. Oh no, I knew it. I'm just going to go keep doing what I was doing. Because they really know. No. For one, no. They don't know. They don't know. If they knew, they would know. Here's a step, though. I hope I'm not confusing me. I hope y'all are following me. But a way to help them know and realize this, that that's why they're doing the things they're doing, is by you being you. By you not being afraid to be you. By you so not being afraid to be you that you're willing to let go. You don't have to want to let go. You don't have to be like, well, blah, blah, blah. No. But it's your boundary. You try to do it compassionately. You try to talk. You try to everything. But if you get shut down or you get demeaned or you get anything like that that is less of your value, like not upholding your value, you lovingly walk away. Not out of anger, not out of fear, but out of love. Do you see that, Pisces? Do you see that as love? What do you see as love? Really look at yourself here, because that's what she's doing. She's not even laying eye to eye with this lion. She's laying in a Sphinx position. The Sphinx is about the instincts of an animal, but the consciousness of a god. Riddles. The mystery. Let's uncover this mystery. What do you see as love, Pisces? What does love look like to you? Sacrifice? Silent treatments? Emotional manipulation? Taking the credit for things that you shouldn't. Taking on somebody's emotional baggage because you can't handle it. They know you can. Pisces always can. Always being there, no matter what. We'll die together. Meanwhile, guess who dies? Pisces. The other will die eventually. Or they'll find somebody else to siphon off of. It's the ones with the greatest light that can be extinguished the fastest if proper boundaries are not set up. Just so you know that. However, it's the ones with the greatest light that it's the easiest to revive if it's not too far gone. The ones with the light attract others with light, or they attract others seeking light because they have not found their own light. You are a lighthouse in a way. Who doesn't like a lighthouse? Who doesn't look for the guidance and the assistance of a lighthouse? Why does love look to you has such a tragic romance? Why does that have to be love? Why does that only have to be love? Hey, where are you? Stop. My cat. Why does love have to look like a tragic romance? If someone were to say to you, like, something bad was going on to them, or they were dealing with somebody who's doing horrible things, or things that just didn't make them feel good about them, what would you say? You would say they shouldn't deal with that. What would you say if a child walked up to you and said, my dad or my mom or my friend, maybe even girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever, they told me today that I was stupid and nobody likes me? What would you say to them, Pisces? You don't have to tell me. You think about it. What would you say to that child? What would you say to that child who has such imaginative, creative things? And you watch their parent tell them that they're unrealistic or too sensitive or they're always too difficult because they always want to talk about something or they see something. Really, really think, Pisces. What would you say to that child? Who didn't know how to go on anymore, or didn't know how to stand there because nobody liked them or wanted to play with them, or thought they were the odd man out. They didn't fit in. Everyone made fun of them. So they either never wanted to play or they accepted abuse just to be able to have a fraction of being able to play. What would you say to that child, Pisces? Because that child is it's your inner child. Nothing you say to that other child should be any different than what you tell your own inner child. If you have to, that might actually be a good idea, is to do a type of meditation where you imagine talking to another child. Externalize it if you have to at first. Imagine talking to a child. And imagine what they would tell you about what pain they're feeling. If you can't feel your own pain, that's one thing I notice is Pisces have a hard time getting out and being a channel to their own pain a lot of times. Especially since when they were younger, they were so shut down for it because something's wrong with you. So a lot of Pisces, in order to start getting it out and diving deep, they have to find new outlets for it. Whether it's writing, painting, drawing, whatever. Meditating. If you have a hard time even meditating, like, you don't have to daydream. I will daydream all day. I actually was almost obsessive about it for a while. And so I have a feeling a lot of Pisces because they're so dreamy, I think that might be my Pisces part of me. It's either my Pisces or my Gemini part, but I can daydream. I can dream anything up. So daydream. If you don't know how to meditate, but it's easier for you to dream, daydream. Just watch what you're dreaming about. That is meditating. Meditating in a way is purposely dreaming about certain things you want to manifest. So therefore you want to watch what you're dreaming about so that you're manifesting what you actually want instead of daydreaming about what you don't want and what you don't have. But daydreaming about what you want, or just daydreaming in your head like you're watching a movie. Meditation, all that is just pulling yourself back from it and watching, in essence. I mean, it's clearing your mind and all that too, but it is pulling back and watching your thoughts, not being your thoughts and knowing that you're not your thoughts, but watching your thoughts. It's being the observer of your thoughts and knowing that you're the observer of your thoughts. So if it's easier for you to do that than meditate or try to do inner work, and you need to do inner child work, because I promise you, this is inner child work. This is inner child and shadow work. If you need help with this, let me know. I'm more than willing to use my services to help you out. Again, I have to update my description and stuff, but in the meantime, you can email me. But if it makes it easier for you, daydream about talking to a child. And imagine that child being hurt. And just let the story reel play out about what they say they're hurt about. It will be you. Whatever that child says, it will be you. You will be projecting into that daydream. It's actually a good way for you guys to do it if you're having trouble with that or whatever, and you want to see what's going on with your inner child, but you're having a hard time with it. Because sometimes people can't always get down like this and see. Sometimes people have to be creative about how to get down on the same eye level as this lion and see. But this is about having the strength to do it and about seeing eye to eye. And not trying to overpower your shadow side or shut it down, but to incorporate your shadow side and know that equally are as important for balance. And that a huge part of your imbalance and blockages in life has been that this part of you, your child part of you, sometimes they're not always the same, but that part, your shadow and your child side, most of the time, it almost usually wraps up your inner child, has been screaming to get out and wanting to be heard and wanting to be respected and wanting to be apologized to, because it has not been seen, heard, respected, or shown gratitude for what it has done all those years while it sat by and let you do what you thought you knew best. Meanwhile, it took the brunt of the pain from you because you didn't listen to it. Sound familiar? Do you see where this mirror work comes in? While people in your external were doing it to your face, what you're presenting to the world, your inner shadow part of you was taking left and right punches to the gut every day, all the time, while it sat back, loving you and not judging you and knowing better and being there for you regardless, even though it knew you weren't returning the same favor. Are you following me, Pisces? Please tell me you're following me. When you fix this, when you're able to have that same conversation, and if you need to know what it is, rewatch the video. When you're able to have that and forgive yourself and tell yourself, I'm sorry, and promise yourself, I will be there for you always, and now you acknowledge this part of you and know that it's part of you too, and it's not being ignored, and it's being listened to and respected and acknowledged and not being told, hush, you're stupid. You always cause me problems. The way you think is so messed up. You make my life so difficult. You never see things properly. You're dumb. No one likes you. No, you're not coming up and talking because no one likes you. I've got this. I will run the show. No, I'll be here to keep us going. You just sit there and be quiet. Just be quiet. You just make things so difficult. You're too sensitive. For the love of God. Whatever. Fit whatever else you want into that. Is it not the craziest thing ever to learn that the same thing you've been told is the same damn thing you're telling yourself? And to realize that there's another part of you? Is it not so hard to understand now why you've always been so conflicted? Because now you're learning there's another part of yourself? Is this not enlightening and transformative? Well, this skeleton is holding the key to enlightenment. You doing this work is your key to enlightenment, to happiness, to a transformative new beginning. To, in a sense, an ego death in a way. And that might be completely beautiful, or it might sometimes be painfully beautiful, and then it just gets beautiful. But it can be a little painful sometimes not. Like I said, while your body is integrating this and letting go and releasing that pain, it's like an onion. As you're peeling away the layers, pain starts to come up. And sometimes as your body's integrating that, especially in the beginning, it can be painful. And you almost sometimes actually can feel like you're dying. Because your ego is telling you that it's dying because part of your ego is dying. But the part of your ego that's dying is the negative part that has been low vibrational and has been holding you back and holding you down. And it's not even dying. You can even talk to it and hold yourself while it's happening and say, look, it's okay. Relax, honey. You're not dying. You're just changing. You're growing. You're improving. Hell, if you have to, have this same conversation as you could tell your ego is acting up and you're on the verge of going into a panic attack. Just sit back, breathe and relax and say, it's okay. I'm here for you. And you're okay. I may not understand what you're going through, but I'm working on it and I will, and I'm paying attention. And I will be here with you through this, loving you and having compassion and having no judgment. I see you. Like Avatar. Is that what it was? I see you. Breathing techniques. Breathe in to the count of 5 and breathe out to the count of 6 or 7. Make your breathing out a little bit longer than your breathing in. It will initiate a different, I think it's your parasympathetic system. Because at first, while you're kind of going through an ego death or you're going through a change, like I said, your body sees it as a death in a way, and so it starts to alert its response system, so your cortisol raises, which is a lot of what brings in your thing of panic attacks and anxiety and all that. So I think it's your sympathetic system. I'm not sure, but your parasympathetic nervous system, or maybe that's the autonomic nervous system. And the parasympathetic one is the one that is kind of your more like relaxed one. It's the one that knows it can relax and danger is not near. The other one, when your cortisols go up and you get anxious and panic attacks, that is the fight or flight system. So sometimes in order to put yourself in that mind, besides having that talk and reassuring it and say, I know it's okay, change is going on, we're changing. It's okay though, you'll be okay. Thank you for alerting me. Thank you so much for alerting me, honey. But I know, and we'll be okay. You don't have to alert me anymore. It's okay, but I'm here with you. No judgment. And you just be there for yourself. And while you're doing that, if you're quiet, you do breathing techniques. And you could do any number of it. I usually choose, I mean, you can't do any or you'll like pass out, but I usually choose like 5 breaths in and like 6 breaths out, 6 or 7 breaths out. You can also look up like yin yoga. There's just one lady, I can't think of her name of it, but she's like really good for certain things like anger, resentment, adrenal fatigue, all of that. any type of thing that, and she does stuff along like meridians and chakras, and she's really good. And it's such a relaxing type of yoga, but that is really just, it puts you in the parasympathetic mind frame, as well as the breathing. So you could breathe in for 5, breathe out for 6 or 7, kind of rest for a second in between, and just like, no, you're okay. Sit with yourself, put your hand on yourself, tell yourself, I'm here for you. You're not alone, and you are there for yourself. Because you are going through this change. But this whole change is bringing you to enlightenment. Your hopes and your fears, you have the King of Pentacles, and you have the Seven of Swords. So you're hoping to become, grounded. But I don't know. And this is how I knew about the stagnancy thing. Because when I first saw this, I was like, yeah, so grounded. But I don't know. Something about it just screamed like stagnant to me. Like, I don't know. I mean, and you could even fear like manipulation by an earth sign or by somebody who, does well financially or is just a very grounded sign. I mean, this guy, I forgot his name. He's like some type of king, but, he's very much about like seduction and kind of sex or whatever. But so, and the Seven of Swords could be like manipulation or strategizing or whatever. But I also see this as you becoming more grounded, you leveling up, becoming more mature in that. And this guy, the Seven of Swords, is not so much in this card necessarily about deceit and all that. It's kind of more about strategy and balance. Like, this guy has wiped this slate clean on the earth to be able to do what he's doing right now. And he's almost trying to play like this balancing or juggling act with these swords. It's about wiping the slate clean in your thoughts, like becoming grounded because you now see a more balanced perspective. The swords are about thoughts. Wiping the slate clean of things that didn't serve you, weren't accurate, were highly filtered, or you had your rose-colored glasses on, like you didn't see properly and now. Some of it was accurate, some of it was not. Some of your perspectives were misprocessed because of wounds you have. When we don't deal with our wounds, man, do they color our perspectives. I mean, that's why you have so many people with just so many like personality disorders and just like ways of seeing things that you're just like, where are they coming from with this? Because their perspectives are based off their wounds. And many times people with the most wounds are the ones that have the most off perspectives. I say off because whose is right? You get what I'm saying? And sometimes even the people that are villainized the most, that have the most off perspective or mean perspective, are actually sometimes some of the most sensitive people. They're not given credit for that. They're seen as not having any feelings. They actually do. It's just that they've shut it down to a point because they had so much so at one time and were so sensitive that they misprocessed things because they were so sensitive and acquired so many wounds, and those wounds tainted their perspective. That again is not to make an excuse or whatever. Boundaries are still at play here. I don't go to that thing that narcissists do not have feelings. And they may not show it. They may not be able to feel it. They may become very limited because then they feel like fear and jealousy and anger and all that. But is because a huge part of their heart chakra and heart center has been shut down over such enormous wounds, because they are usually, actually, I believe, more sensitive a lot of times than the ones who are on a more codependent scale. And even though codependents and narcissists are the same thing, they're both codependents. It's just the ones that show the more codependent qualities don't have as strong of narcissistic qualities. And the ones who are more narcissists, They just show more of the narcissistic qualities. I don't know if that makes sense with what I'm saying, but they chose to cope a different way. The wound is the same with a codependent and a narcissist. The wound is the same. It is just how they chose to cope with it. And a lot of times, the ones who chose to become more narcissistic in their traits were actually more sensitive and emotional of children. And because of that, they actually got hurt worse, created bigger wounds, and now are more tainted in their processings in their lives, in their perspectives. Narcissism is not unhealthy. Everybody needs a healthy level of narcissism. Again, we come back to balance. Codependency stronger, narcissism stronger, being in the middle. I get that this person's still narcissistic. But as far as can be more narcissistic, as far as the truly hurting people kind of way. But anybody who's hurting people, for the most part, they don't see it as hurting people. They see it as whatever reality they have built for themselves. So whatever story they need to is made up for what they're doing. Yes, guilt builds up because a part of them knows, a part of them that they try to shut up knows. But still, at the end of the day, they make up a story that justifies it, and that story is usually based off their wound. Therefore, even though you think, clearly I'm the victim, no, clearly in their eyes, you are the villain. Just to let you know. And another thing is, they're not wrong. If things are based off perspective, nobody's wrong. How many times have codependents really gotten mad at narcissists for going off and doing their own things? Why? That's their journey. Because the codependent got scared of being alone. They had a fear of being rejected and being alone. Just like the narcissist does. Just the narcissist goes about it by demeaning you to try to keep you there and then not respecting you at all. And then they push you away because now they know you're going to try even harder to fight. And meanwhile, you're just as bad as them because you're there continuing the dance. It's a dance. And you could really pop between any role. If a codependent is around somebody who has a more narcissistic, or it's not even more narcissistic, whoever has the stronger energy, if you have a codependent nature about you, whoever has the stronger energy is going to display more of the narcissistic traits, the stronger narcissistic traits. And the one who is the weaker energy is the one who is going to display the more codependent one of the one who's being there, who's fighting, who's chasing, who's whatever, and the other one's going to be pushing away. Now that same person who is pushing away can go and be by somebody else who they're more secure in themselves. They don't have as much fear or whatever, but they still might have a codependent side. And now they're going to pop to that kind of chase them mode because they've got a sense of security and a sense of something they need, because the other person, they just drained all their energy and now they're going to someone else who has more energy and they really need it. So now they're in more the codependent role because they're more needy. It's just when you're in the more narcissistic side, you're still needy. Yours is just fear-based on losing it, but I don't know, it's just not as strong. You kind of know more of your stuff, even though it's false, because you wouldn't have to do the stuff you need. It's really in depth. I hope you followed with what I just said. But either way, nothing is right or wrong and nothing is good or bad. Because it's all about perspective. And who are we to say that somebody else's perspective is wrong if that's what's real to them? The only thing that matters is you checking in on yourself and checking in on your realities based on your wounds, and does theirs align with yours? If it doesn't, it's not wrong, but it's not your path. Because it's not how you're trying to ride out, and you should never sell yourself out for somebody else's reality. You want to align yourself with either somebody's reality who is the same as yours, or somebody's reality who is one that you are working on yours to become, because you are working on advancing and enlightening yourself and growing yourself. That is why you never stoop to like somebody's kind of lower reality, and don't tell them they're wrong. You're never going to win that argument. And to be honest, it's wrong for you to do that. It's actually narcissistic to do that because you're not having compassion for their perspective. Who's to say that they weren't treating you like that because they're so hurt and they were just trying to protect themselves? Is that mean? Or is that like they were trying to protect themselves and that's the only way they thought and knew how to do it? I don't know. The only thing you have to ask yourself, though, is, does this align with my path? And if it does, is this a path I want to continue? Do I want to wipe the slate clean? Am I having a hard time doing this balancing act up here? Is this path grounding me? Or does this path make me feel like this? Does this path make me feel like this? Like you don't know which way to go. Does it make you feel like this? What's in your likely outcome is you have the Ten of Cups. Yay. I mean, like I said, in your like all your future cards are good. Like you have the Eight of Pentacles, rebuilding after either you breaking the dam or the dam breaking itself. The Ace of Cups, self-love, flowing of emotions again. Guess who gets to pop back in Pisces energy? Whoop, whoop. Guess who loves it this time? And guess who now sees the light and is willing to stand up for it and speak their truth and cuts through all this darkness and crap that's been around them and shows this light and this enlightenment because it's about time. This enlightenment and seeing your reality is about time. Now, here's another reason why constant reflection is really important, besides just for a Pisces, because you want to make sure you're in your own energy and you didn't adopt somebody else's. But another reason is because the ego is constantly rebuilding itself. It's constantly rebuilding a new reality. That's why people actually go through like many awakenings throughout their whole life, because they're constantly rebuilding an ego. And the idea is for it to get better and better and more like loving, wholesome based and not so fear based. However, not only because you may have again processed something, because life is a constant journey of learning. You're not going to know everything at one time. So you might have misprocessed something again, but also because life changes all the time. It's ever changing and evolving. What works for you at one time may not work again. So you're constantly going to have to reflect and keep your ego in check. And the more you do that and the more you stay in sync, the less your ego freaks out whenever you change it, because you're constantly checking in with it. You know, you're constantly checking in with it. Like, hey, how are we doing? Are we still in line with this? We want to change something? How do we feel? We just learned this information. How do we feel about this? Does this still line up with us? No? Okay, let's make this little tweak. Okay, good. We're riding out again. But if it keeps going and going and going, well, then you end up in this situation that you're sitting in now, if you don't reflect on a consistent basis, which is the benefit of meditating on a daily basis. Just saying. So, okay, Ten of Cups, Ace of Cups. No, this cup is not from somebody else. This cup is what you are now bringing in through yourself again as you are connecting, taking a break, going within, connecting, allowing spirit to do its thing, aligning with nature, you know, looking at what you want, sharing. This king is all about sharing its gifts and its wisdom. You've looked, what do I want? Coming out of confusion. Oh, I know what I want on this new journey. I want to share my gift again. I want to share my knowledge. I want to share my love. I want to share my healing. But this time in king level. This time I know my boundaries. This time I know how to go about doing it. And this time, well, this time I know how to do it and not feel left out in the cold. And this time it brings you the Ten of Pentacles. And this time it brings you the Two of Cups and being able to see eye to eye, See, and that's a great point too. Here's your eye to eye seeing internally, and here's your eye to eye brought externally. Whether it's the same person situation it's been, and now they've grown up because Pisces has grown up, or this is a new one who's been attracted to you eye to eye because as above, so below, as within, so without. Victorious, 6 Wands, 9 of Cups, emotional satisfaction. The angels are like, yay, good job. You're stretching as they're filling it. You're like, ugh, thanks. Thank you so much. It was rough, but you know, I got through it. Yeah, and you come out of hermit mode. You come out, you see the light, you move on, you're doing your thing. Pisces comes back into their power. They're back into their receptive mode. They don't need that Scorpio energy anymore. No offense, but I'm good, thanks. You can have that. I've now learned how to receive my own love and allow it to feed myself. I now know what direction I'm going. I'm grateful for all of them. They all have things that are growing on them this time because I realize all of my lessons have gotten me to where I am now. They were all beautiful opportunities. However, this one serves me best. But thank you to all of them. And now you know how to be in a more balanced way and serve justice as it needs to be by being you. She has on her chest, protecting her heart, the head of Medusa. So I've been drawn a lot to Medusa. A lot lately. I don't know. Kind of have like this affinity for Medusa. I'm not sure why. I'm sure there's something having to do with my wounds or something. But I do know one of my biggest animal spirits is the Pegasus. I think his name's actually Negasus, which is really weird. I don't know why. It just came up as Negasus. And when I looked it up, there's actually like this little cartoon anime thing that has a little yellow Pegasus named Negasus. I have no idea. Anyways, it's a Pegasus. The Pegasus actually came from Medusa. When Medusa was killed and her head was cut off, it came out of her. I think my husband said it came from like the blood that came out of her neck, which it was actually the child from, I think it was Poseidon that took advantage of her. But because the bottom of her was a snake, because of, I think it was Athena, what she did and turned her, you know, she couldn't have kids. She couldn't give birth, anything like that. So it was just sitting inside her, and when her head was cut off, it was released, and there came Pegasus. I don't know why I'm necessarily saying that part, because it doesn't really matter. So anyways, she has the head of Medusa on her. The reason I brought up Medusa is because Medusa at one time was like so beautiful. To where, I'm not going to remember this exactly, so don't hold it against me, but, like, she was supposed to literally be, like, this highly untouchable, for lack of better words, like, spiritual virgin, like, untainted. Like, in order to, I don't know if it was for Athena or who, in order for her to be there and be around and be kind of like their, I can't think of the word, like, representing them, basically, they had to be untouched, pure, untainted. But she was so beautiful that, and so amazing, like such a beautiful gift. Okay, now I know why this is supposed to come up. Such a gift that she was actually hated on by a lot of people, including Athena, I think it was. But the men, especially, so much so that she was almost like a conquest, like nothing to really be with and love, because they either couldn't have her or couldn't handle her beauty, but also just to have her as a trophy. They kept trying to do stuff to her to have her as a trophy for their own egoic and greedy needs. And most of them she was protected from, and was able to not be harmed by, or, you know, was able to get away from, whatever, not not have anything happen to her from them. But Poseidon, I think it was, saw her and just really loved her beauty. And I believe she even tried to tell Athena, and Athena didn't listen to her or whatever. And for a while, Medusa got, she was able to get away. But I think Poseidon, like, tricked her or did something, and he took advantage of her. Like, he raped her. I don't know. You might even have sexual wounds, either in this lifetime or a past lifetime that you're having to work through, just as a side note. But, he took advantage of her. Athena knew, I'm pretty sure it was Athena, I don't know, it'll hold me to it if it's not, but Athena knew what had happened. She knew it was not Medusa's fault. She knew that Poseidon took advantage of her, and it was again for his own egoic desires and as like a trophy, and because basically her own beauty, her own gift, her own mystical nature to some degree was a curse to her. And to the people that it was a curse to her by, they were all people that had their own issues going on with themselves. It's questionable in the myths whether Athena's curse on Medusa was a blessing or a curse. Whether it was to protect her, thinking, here, I will make you so hideous and ugly that no one will want you or hurt you anymore, or whether it was a punishment for no longer being pure and allowing Poseidon to do that to her, that here, now you're going to be ugly, and this is your punishment. It didn't stop, though. Now, instead of it being for her beauty, she was still such a different doesn't wrap it up. I'm trying to think of a better word. Just something so unique and amazing that again, it became something to conquer. Whether it was to see her or whether it was to try to kill her, she still was being chased down by these same type of men who wanted to violate her. And still as a type of trophy for her gift. Or whatever you want to call it. Whatever sets her apart and unique from the others. A lot of people villainize or are scared of Medusa, and because they think she just kills anybody who looks her in the eyes, or that she did. Really what it was, or the way I see it, is that it wasn't everybody that she did that to. It was the people who came searching for her to use her for whatever needs, egoic and greedy needs they had. The only reason it seemed like it was everybody was because the only people who ever hunted her down and messed with her in any way were the ones who had something wrong, or I don't want to say wrong, but something egoic or greedy going on with them, that she was a conquer to them or a trophy for themselves. Medusa's stare is such a judging one, to where she can see whose heart is pure and whose heart is not. I believe that myth, and that's how it goes, is that it is the ones who do not have the pure intention and the pure hearts of why they are coming to her presence, of the ones that get turned to stone. Their heart is literally weighed out. Almost like the one of like Anubis, and then when people die and cross over, it gets weighed, you know, on the scales with the feather. It's almost like Medusa's version of that, where her stare, like the Ghost Rider, her stare weighs your heart and your intention. And the men that had the wrong intentions, which ironically were the only ones who sought her out, were the ones who got turned to stone. You could decide whether you think Medusa was wrong or evil or not. Or was Medusa just in that situation because she had such a gift that people either didn't understand or they wanted to conquer and use for their own selfish needs? Meanwhile, everybody else told her that she was a freak and that something was wrong with her. It's really funny how people who usually are the freaks and something's wrong with them are the ones that most people seek out and view as the trophies. Why are they the trophies? It's just kind of weird if you think about it. But anyways, you now have learned to decipher this information, and it's easier for you now. Here's her head over her heart. It's easier for you to now decipher with your heart what are somebody's intentions. And the reason that that is easier now is because you have healed your wound. Your actions and your perspectives are no longer tainted by your wounds. They are weighed with your own heart. Such as Medusa. Like I said, I don't know why I have an affinity for Medusa. All right, so we're almost ready to wrap this up. This is a long video. I don't know who's still with me, but Two of Discs, weighing things out, changes happening in your life, balance is being created. It is your ability as the Princess of Disc, which is like the Page of Disc, which is funny, no, that's the Page of Cups. But anyways, to transmute this. You have the ability, especially as a Pisces, to take this opportunity that is happening to you right now and transmute it into something that is a favorable thing for you and that allows you to reconnect and become who you are again, to become in your feminine. This card is all about becoming in the feminine. To be able to sit and take something that is going on in your life and transmute that energy and just work with it and let it come to you and transmute it in a healing way, that is the feminine energy. And Pisces is the feminine energy. Pisces steps back into their energy. And now guess what happens now, guys? This Ace of Wands that's reversed is now upright. And you're inspired and you're aligned and you're going again. This work in this process gives you back this upright Eight of Wands. Your decision is, do you want to take the harder route and stick in that Scorpio energy and ignore it and let that dam to build until it breaks, and then it's not only more painful for you but those around you? Or do you want to start to do this work and not be so scared? Yeah, it's still going to be painful, but nothing like the Scorpio energy of the Tower moment. Literally the Scorpio energy, one of them is the Tower, one of them is the Death. There's other ones too, but yeah. This card, Tiger Lily, Tiger Nautilus, again, about being in receptivity, coming back in your power. Then you have Halcyon, I don't know. Transformation is at works. We're not going to go too far into this because we spent a lot of time. When I saw these cups, like I almost saw like even diving in, but, and I know, you know how they have caves like underwater and stuff, but there's still air. I don't even know how that works. I'm not even getting into it right now. But I saw like this as like, I guess I'll put it like this. Like she's now on this orca. I mean, come on now. Like Pisces can ride a freaking orca. I would love to do that, but only Pisces can ride an orca. Like, I don't know. That's their magical gift. Anyways, well, I guess I could. I am kind of Pisces, but I see, when I look at this card, what I see is her on this orca, and she's holding on, and this orca is bringing her down into the water. He's bringing her down to a hidden cave, where she then gets off and goes in this cave as the mermaid that she is. So it doesn't even matter whether there's water or not that she's breathing in, because while this, no, I'm sorry, she's a mermaid too. This is the mermaid deck. I forgot. I actually picked all the mermaid decks because I know Pisces like mermaids. So all of these cards I just pulled were the oracle ones were mermaids. But she's a mermaid, so she's going down there, but the whale is helping her. Maybe you've got a spirit animal of a whale, or a killer whale, or a totem animal. I don't know. But anyways, it's assisting her, and it's bringing her down. I love whale sounds. That might be something that's really healing for you guys, too, as another healing sign besides, like, rivers running, like streams or oceans. But whale sounds, oh my God. Because I love whales, too, but I love the sounds of them talking under the water. So you may want to use that during meditation, too, because they're like your familias. Is that what they're called? Like your spirit animals and your totem animals. Or either way, this whale is assisting you in your journey as you're diving down, diving deep, as Ralph would like to say on Infinite Waters diving deep. And it's assisting her to dive down, and it takes her to this cave where she can go in, and she can do it kind of in private, but in a safe way. And she's sitting there and reflecting and looking at all her wounds, and she's forgiving herself for anything you need to forgive yourself for, but in the way I was talking about before. Like, she's doing this work, and this cave I see is like, you know, your shadow work, like going within. Again, I can help you with this. Let me know. We can, you know, work together, offer my services or whatever. I do the best I can. I mean, I do it to myself. So, it's kind of like the lobster. Like, I don't know if I ever said it to you guys about the story about the lobster, but it's like the shell gets so this is how people should be too, but instead they take like antidepressants, you know, anxiety meds and all this stuff instead of taking responsibility and working on their lives. Their shells get tighter, and lobsters, their shells get tighter and tighter and tighter. I guess I should go this way. Tighter, tighter, tighter. Because they're getting bigger under the shell. And that pressure is made to let them know when it's time to shed the shell. So when it is, they go under a rock, they shed the shell. And while they're under there in their vulnerable state, regrowing a new shell, they stay there while they're doing the work. And once the new shell is built, which is kind of like your ego, but it's basically like after your body has integrated, because sometimes when you do this work, especially as your body's integrated, especially if you have like a strong awakening, I don't know, you can kind of feel like a child again, having to reintegrate yourself back into the world. But either way, even if you're fine, if you're just in like hermit mode or something, you just kind of go there for a minute while you're in a more vulnerable state, because you shed a skin, you shed your shell, and you're growing a new one. And that's what she's doing. This whale has assisted her in diving deep. So if you need to meditate with the sounds of whales, if you need to imagine or know that your spirit guide is a whale, and imagine yourself, like literally imagine this in a meditation. Or like maybe your little inner child is here that you go and talk to, and you imagine or daydream, if you have a hard time meditation, daydream, you're riding on the back of a whale, and it is taking you down as a mermaid down into the waters, and you find a cave under the waters, and it brings you in there, and you thank it, and you go, and it's waiting, I'll be back for when you need to come back. All right, thank you. And you go in, and then you as a mermaid, you go and find this little hurt child mermaid that's in there. And you're like, I'll talk to you. Hey, what's up? And talk to that child. Daydream about what that child is saying to you, because it will be you. Play off that. Do whatever you need to do from that. If you have a hard time going within, legit intentionally meditating, daydream. If you're daydreaming about other stuff, make sure it's healthy stuff. But if you're daydreaming about scenario type stuff and you're going this way, literally daydream about children, daydream about certain situations, because I guarantee you, your mind is going to project into that daydream, and whatever is happening is mirroring your wounds. Pretty nifty, huh? Yeah. And if you do that, I don't know, it says make a wish. It's a magical moment. You can manifest. Again, about daydreaming. Got a unicorn. I have a feeling you have a lot of like really magical, you know, spiritual animals and totems and all that, like helping you out during this. Utilize them. Whether you think it's a dragon, a fairy, a whale, a unicorn, it doesn't matter. In this land, it doesn't matter. In this land, Pisces belongs more than anybody. You have victory here. It'll be victory inside and without. Working on your second chakra. You probably need to work on all of them. Anyways, all right. Let's pull one healing card and we're going to be done with this. I don't know how many people are still going to be hanging on during this or whatever, but we're going to pull a healing crystal card. We're going to let that be a wrap. All right. Guess who needs to speak up? You got 2 blue cards, especially with Lapis. And you got Peridot. We might read all of them. Might need to hurry up on this. All right. Lapis Lazuli, Heavenly Wisdom. Wards off calamities of all kinds. It was one of the most auspicious stones in the ancient world. You are an immortal soul who has a profound connection with the heavens. Your purpose is noble. You yearn for spiritual attunement, but may be hampered by outmoded viewpoints. Outmoded. Take charge of your life. Looking into the past puts your present experience into perspective. What? You are a lineage breaker. That's right. Break this pattern. Make the effort to trace family history for deeper insight. Oh my God. There is spiritual dis-ease. Work with dreams and journey inward to find deeper insights. Wow, this is crazy. Flashes of intuition show the way. Open your heart and third eye. Help comes from on high. Enlightenment is within your grasp. Enhanced perception shows what operates beneath. Study or research is needed. Yours is the gift of true friendship. Protect yourself. Attuning to your divine nature enhances your well-being. That was pretty amazing. Anyways, this is what it looks like. Lapis Lazuli. Throat chakra. Speak your truth. 19. Acceptance. Appetite. Works at the interface between conscious and matter to let go of what is outworn in your life. Clear away confusion or guilt. Accept the truth about yourself. You are a complex being with credits and deficits. Recognize these without judgment. Move away from aloofness or social alienation and show others who you truly are. Use your perspicacity. I always have trouble with that. Perspicacity. You have much to offer by way of service as you access insights for the collective good. Be inspired. Discern truth within. Recognize what is real in your world and restructure your reality. Don't be deceived by false fronts. See what is beneath. Develop your metaphysical perception. Things improve steadily. Understand that circumstances are merely learning opportunities. It is time to be of service to others. Teach what you know. Like I was saying before, your intuition knows what is best for you. Let's do Peridot, just for craps and giggles. This is very much so. This is along what I was saying. Okay, here we go. Peridot, I don't know. Emotional cleansing. Frees the mind from unwelcome, envious thoughts and night terrors. It is transmutative and purifying. You are deeply emotional and may possess mistakes. By nature, jealous, you have dark thoughts. Detoxify your emotions. Learn to forgive and let go. Follow your own life plan without judging yourself or being envious of others. You have the power to go through fiery transmutation and emerge transformed. Use energy wisely. Recognize how outside influence operate in your life. Develop your own protection. Learn to rely on your own inner guidance. Peridot indicates farewells and disappointment in love. Avoid jealousy. Be assertive without aggression. You have a powerful destiny and great integrity. Money is earned from your talents. Envy and jealousy harm you as well as hurting others. Chances are, I do notice a lot of Pisces are kind of envious or jealous or whatever, and they don't even really realize it. But really, it's not that that's not the energy they are. It's actually projecting like stuff that's going on within them. And because of that, they also attract people like that. So sometimes it's either shown to people outwardly, or more often than not, I actually find that it's part of your shadow side. Like those are things going on between your own two in between. Even though you don't know it's there, it's subconscious. That it's actually mirrored or projected outwardly, or it's attracted because like attracts like, it attracts other people like that. I'm ending this reading. I hope this has helped you. I hope we dove more than enough. Holy crap. This is not anything close to what I intended by starting this, but at the same time, it was much needed. Let me show you the recognition you deserve, Pisces. Yes, your energy was difficult for me, but I am so grateful for it because you made me see things about myself that it was time for me to see. And that's what you do. It's just being around the people who are doing that self-work and who can respect the people who trigger others in their life, because you are such a high vibration and you see things they don't. Thank you, Pisces. I am so grateful for that and for this energy you brought to me, because not only has it already released a lot for me, but you allowed me to see a key to something that I was so blocked on that now I know what I need to do. So thank you, and I love you, and good luck with all this. Let me know if you guys need any help. And keep your head up during this month, and if this continues past this month, or if it's already happening. And just keep taking your steps no matter how dark it gets sometimes, because you're not alone and you are strong enough. I'll see you guys soon. I love you. Bye. I don't think there's anything else I have to say. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please comment. If this is all over the place for you, I'm sorry if it doesn't resonate. I don't know what to say. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. I really, really, really hope this helps you. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.